Ready? It's 6 o'clock. I call this meeting to order, and Mr. Bolton, perhaps you could lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so first thing is to, should have had change this around. Approve minutes of prior meetings. The first is our non-public and regular work session of May 23rd.
Make a motion to accept it.
Motion by Mike, second by Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
And then, our June 13th non-public work session minutes
Make a motion to accept it.
Second.
by Mike and Neil. All those in favor?
Aye.
And finally, the regular meeting of June 13th.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion by Mike, second by John.
Not to revisit this, but
Let's just finish this and then, because we're on this, right?
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's the June 13th. Now, what did I do?
wasn't there. So, the non-public has me as president, and I was not.
All right, so the June 13th non-public minutes should be amended to indicate that Bill Bolton was not there, so I guess we'll make that motion and second again with that change.
Make a motion with the
by
change of Bill Bolton being absent at the June 13th non-public work session.
Mike, and second by Neil, okay. And then I see on the regular minutes you weren't, right? So I think that takes care of it. Our announcements are that we're going to meet on the following dates. June 11th, if needed. If there isn't any necessity, we're going to skip the July 11th meeting, and then our next meeting will be July 25th. And our work review sessions are always prior to the regular meeting at 5 p.m. As usual, these meetings will be held here unless otherwise posted. Weather observations for May are available in the town hall. Citizens wishing to be listed on our agenda should notify the town hall before noon on the Friday before the scheduled meeting. Town offices, as usual, will be closed on July 4th, which is Monday this year in observance of Independence Day. And also, an announcement, the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District is planning to conduct a 2-day smoke test of the collection system, meaning the wastewater collection system, in the downtown Main Street area, beginning July 20th. I have no comments. I think maybe we'll skip ahead to new purchase orders so that the chief can get going.
Thank you, that's great. I believe you have the purchase orders already, at least somebody should have.
Yep, I do.
I don't know which one you're looking at first, though.
The software support.
Yep, this is the one you sign every year. That's our police reporting software, the IMC program. It's the licensing fees that we have to pay for. And again, here I am once again this year asking permission to renew this subscription there.
All right, do we have a motion to renew the software subscription?
So moved.
By John,
Second.
by
Bill.
Bill. Thank you for filling in that blank for me. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now, maybe the same two people could make the motion this time, so I don't have to think again. And secondly, we have the...
This one, Mr. Chair, I don't believe you need to vote on because it was voted on at town
Okay,
meeting.
yeah.
I just need the purchase order actually signed.
Okay.
That's just for the third payment and final payment of the cruiser.
All right, so let's do, this is the... Whoops, that's not a pen. All kinds of
Three
problems
times at a
tonight, huh?
time.
Correct. Yeah,
And
we get them all
after
at once.
3 years?
Yeah, we get them all at once. We just have to pay one every year, and then after 3 years, we own them.
And you own them.
Yep.
Do these go with it? I see there's a,
Yeah, I think that was just in case you wanted to know exactly what
Oh,
the
just
software
FYI,
was
okay.
and what it's going towards.
you don't need that back, okay. And the car, the Interceptor.
Actually, that paperwork, if I could keep it with,
Okay.
yeah. Because we just like to keep record of it, so if you don't mind. Thank you.
Is that your signature?
Does it look like two seagulls? Then yes, it's my signature.
Okay.
With no eyes and no beak.
You can be the first one.
Perfect, thank you. This is not a draft, this is final copy, correct? Okay.
Did we get, do you have both of your,
No, I think I just have just the one. Oh, they are both here. I guess I do have both of them then.
Okay.
So then I guess if there's no other business for me, may I be excused?
yes, please.
Excellent, thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, everybody.
See you, Steve.
Take care. Happy 4th.
You too.
You're not going on vacation, are you?
It's gonna be like a staycation, I got a lot of painting.
Staycation. Gotta use that.
That's good. Okay.
Staycation.
Now, the next item on our agenda is actually a little bit repetitive because I just made this announcement about the, about water and sewer, but there's a letter from Water and Sewer explaining this, and I think the idea was that we would read this. And so this is what it says. This is addressed to Plymouth Village District users. The district anticipates conducting a 2-day smoke test of the collection system in the downtown Main Street area beginning July 20th. A non-toxic smoke will be blown into the system to reveal leaks that allow stormwater and other surface waters to enter the system. Locating and correcting these leaks will conserve capacity at the treatment facility, and a video record of these leaks will be recorded. There's an explanation here. The smoke is manufactured specifically for this purpose. It leaves no residuals or stains and has no effects on plants or animals. It has a distinctive, but not unpleasant, odor. The visible smoke and odor last only a few minutes where there is adequate ventilation. If the smoke does enter your home or building, any of the following items are the probable cause. So these are potential problems, I guess. The vents connected to your building sewer service line are inadequate, defective, or improperly installed. The traps under sinks, tubs, basins, showers, floor drains, etc. are dry, defective, improperly installed, or missing. Or the pipes, connections, and seals of the building's sewer system are damaged, defective, have plugs missing, or are improperly installed. During the week prior to July 20th, pour water down any unused drains to ensure the traps are full, so I guess the smoke won't come back in, or come in. If traces of the smoke or its odor enter your house, it is an indication that odor from the sewer system may also be entering. This can be unpleasant, dangerous, and a potential health hazard. The location, identification, and correction of the source of any such smoke entering your house building is required according to local, state, and federal regulations. And there's more information at the Water and Sewer District website, which is pvwsd.com. So I think that's it for that. Any questions, I guess, call Water and Sewer. And then we have visitor who did not appear, it looks like. Kevin Brett was going to come and talk to us about signage, but I guess he's not here, so we'll skip that. And committee reports, does anybody have any? Yes, Mike.
On the 10th of June, I attended the Chamber Board of Directors meeting. And they hired a part-time person to handle some bookkeeping and, I believe, website, constant contact, they took over. There's an annual meeting that's happening this Wednesday, June 29th, 5 to 7 p.m. at Owl's Nest Golf Course in Thornton. So they're very much still ongoing. They had a golf tournament where they made some money, it was very successful, and so things are still moving on with that.
So, what's the name of the Chamber of Commerce now? Do you remember that?
Central New Hampshire Chamber of Commerce.
And are they going to be utilizing that office space up at exit 28, or that space?
That building's for sale.
Oh, it is? There's a new sign out in front of it, I think, or in that area for the chamber,
Yeah, they,
I noticed, but,
boy, I'm trying to recollect the last meeting we had. I believe they've got, there's some question about, there is some renting of the downstairs that's going on. It is for sale. They are not going to staff it, I believe, this winter, but they have leaflets that they're having out front so people can still get information.
is there an office yet? Or is there an office that you know?
Where they're running everything out
Yeah.
of. They meet at the co-op building where the Northway Bank is. They generally meet there. There is, I believe, most of the work is done home offices for either the constant contact or
Yep.
or the website. They're, again, going through issues with not having the amount of members that they expected to have when they did the changeover. But they are in the process of looking to get more members to rejoin, and they've got an effort and a plan, I think, to do that. And see what happens.
Conservation Commission had a work day, kind of a work hike barbecue type activity last week, but I wasn't able to be there.
Did you?
School's out.
Is that the school board report? Went to a planning board meeting, and I believe this is the one where we extended the planning board approval for the Soldier On project on Boulder Point.
You mean it was approved?
It was approved a year ago, and then we corrected the language so that approval can be made for 2 years before a project has to,
Yeah,
start.
reapply, or-
But we just renewed the Soldier On, because it only had a 1 year.
And they asked for that?
Yeah.
Did they update you on its status at all?
No,
No?
no, it was just a formality.
But they're still pursuing it, obviously.
Yeah,
Good.
as far as we know. Oh,
That's it?
SEC had a hearing.
What's that?
SEC had their final
Oh, yeah.
hearing that
Do
we
you want
attended.
to summarize that?
Well, I didn't attend the last, I don't know if they had any findings or not.
I left in the middle, too, before they had their deliberation.
Yeah, they were
portion.
going to reconvene after a couple breaks, and I didn't, stay there for that, but anyway, it was at the high school at the auditorium, and
Large turnout.
yeah, I don't think it was as large as when we had our public hearing.
You're right, yeah. And it wasn't as large as they had one at the school probably a year ago, too, right? It was an earlier one.
Yeah,
That was more heavily attended than that one, I think.
right.
But there were quite a few people there, and, the thing about that hearing was it was intended for comments on supplemental material that had been filed in February pursuant to some order of the SEC, but
That didn't happen.
everybody just talked about the merits of the thing generally and what they felt about it. There were only a couple people that addressed
Right.
the material they were supposed to they were planning to, that the meeting was intended for, the hearing was intended for. Okay, well, if there's nothing else on that, I don't have anything else on our agenda.
Nope.
Except to ask, of course, whether the public has any comment.
The public does.
Oh, good.
Line of that Northern Pass, a couple of meetings ago, the Board of Selectmen were writing a letter to the town's attorney to determine or to have the legal review as to this town's position of no knock down Main Street. And I was wondering if you've received any correspondence back as to what the town's capability legally is being able to enforce the no.
Well, we had that public hearing,
Yes.
and the sentiment of the town was overwhelmingly against Northern Pass generally, and coming through Plymouth specifically. And so after that, we got on board with the attorney that represents Easton and Franconia and maybe Sugar Hill. And all three of those towns are in our, the group that we've been put in by the SEC. And we voted at a meeting here to pay a certain amount, up to a certain amount for legal fees to participate in that process. I don't think that we asked the town's attorney for an opinion about, whether, how we might deal with the issue. I think we just decided to go with the attorney that was representing people in that matter.
Okay, so there's been no meeting at the state level with that group to indicate that everybody's pretty much said, like to say no?
Well, if you're asking if we've communicated directly with Northern Pass to tell them what the results of our public hearing were, is that?
No, it's just, all these hearings and meetings we've had, we've collectively said no, and I think the board was trying to get the official, properly worded, legal binding no to the right agency at Concord as to what position of the town of Plymouth
Well,
is.
I think we made it pretty clear by our participation with the other towns that we are not in favor of Northern Pass as it's currently planned. I don't think, we don't have the authority or the power to say no, because it's regulated by the state. Hopefully the SEC will take into account the opinions of all the people along the way in deciding whether or not this is, I'm not sure exactly what their finding has to be, but it has to be for the public good, or I'm not sure exactly what the statute says, but hopefully there will be so much resistance, it's kind of my hope, that they will that they will propose an alternative, perhaps going down 93, which seems to be the sort of the preferred alternative overall to most people other than Eversource and a few of its supporters. And some people would say I've exaggerated that, but so be it.
You answered the question. I've had a lot of people ask me about where the town.
I think it's important to know that we don't really have the authority to prohibit it. If the SEC says you guys can go, down through Plymouth and dig a trench and bury your power line, that's what they're gonna do.
I have one more thing. I was reading in our read file about the rumble strip issue.
Yeah.
And about how the state has set certain criteria for rumble strips, and they've put in rumble strips recently out on Route 3A from the traffic circle down to Hoyt Hill. And I've had a number of complaints from people who live along that road that the rumble strips are too loud. Now, I understand the safety factor of the rumble strip and how it can prevent accidents. But there might be something they could do to make the rumble strips. I know it's a state highway, it's really not our purview, but I thought that I should bring it up.
Paul had something to say about that.
Good subject, because we're getting a lot of complaints too. First of all, we should let the public know that's not the town, it's the state. But again, Senator Shaheen has been contacted, the governor's been contacted, and I guess they've been invited to sit out at 3A in the evening and listen to the cars. We're getting a lot of complaints. Children out on 3A are having trouble getting to sleep. It's an awful lot of noise. I live further away from 3A, up on Tenny Mountain, and it's loud from up there, but if you're living right on 3A, rumble strips aren't meant to go through residential areas. They're not supposed to. They're also not supposed to be right on that white line like we see out on Tenny Mountain. They're usually 2.5 feet off the white line.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
So we've got two problems. Alton's going through the same thing, and another town that I can't remember. They've also complained to the state. It's almost like we were an experiment, and we didn't know about it. And I don't know.
I noticed on Tenny that they put it down the center line.
Just the
too.
center.
I'd never seen that before. Is that a new thing?
Well, they do it
Center
in
and the
Vermont.
sides on Tenny, I thought. They have the center and the sides on Tenny.
Right.
Well,
On
then,
Tenny
yeah.
Mountain Highway, it's the center of the signs. On 3A,
Yeah,
it's just down the middle.
right.
And you're right, it's not common.
They got them on both sides on 3A.
No, I live out there.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Neil, there's none on the right-hand side. There's only down the middle on 3A.
And people are, I guess they're crossing over the middle to make the noise, right?
Yeah, but the
It's in the
trucks at
passing
night,
lane.
that path opens up for a lot of trucking at night, and the trucks stay right on the rumble strip.
Oh, really?
And Mike just said it's a passing area too, so people would legally
Yeah.
like.
They have no choice.
Yeah.
It's, but you hardly ever, and you're not supposed to never see them in a residential area. For those reasons, they do make an awful lot of noise. The problem that we're actually having on Tenny Mountain Highway is people are overcompensating because they're bouncing off of both of them as they're going down. And now that I'm there, I don't want to see elderly people doing it because I'm there, but it's, the one on the right's causing us all the trouble. It's when traffic's approaching, we do have a tendency to get away from the yellow line, and people are hitting the one
Yeah.
that probably should have been put a couple of feet off the white line. No, you go out on the highway at 93, you'll see it's 2.5 feet off the white line.
Yeah, I thought they looked really close too. I
Well, it's right on the white line.
thought about it, but yeah.
Well, it actually looks like it's out in the road.
But if you go
itself.
down with a 1-ton truck, you're gonna
Yeah,
drift it
yeah,
hit.
yeah.
So when that happens out on 3A, now we have residents that live very close to the road. Probably
So
got
I
30 or
guess-
40 feet.
So who contacted Senator Shaheen? Do you know?
We'll have to check with Brian, we have a letter downstairs
No, somebody
that
wrote
we
to
could
her.
share, yep,
And
and
then you said somebody in the state was contacted?
the governor.
Well, that would be more, I wouldn't think that the US Senator would have much to say about that.
I guess when you complain to who
Yeah.
you know.
I understood it was federally funded. That's what I was
I don't know,
told.
we were
The
never,
rumble strips were
we never
paid for.
given a heads up that it was happening.
That was the complaint about Alton too, because in fact, MUR had a story about the woman that had this camping area, which was not too far from, I don't know where, Spalding Turnpike, whatever it was, that, they put the rumble strips and people were like leaving canceling the reservations.
Wow,
So-
that's pretty serious.
But if you want an interesting night after 9 o'clock, just park out there. You only have to park out there for about 20 minutes.
I'll bet it's not. I mean, I hear 93, not the rumble strips, just the traffic from
We got
my
people
place.
out-
It's a half mile away, probably, anyway.
Towards the Fairgrounds Road, Quincy Road area,
Yeah,
that are complaining too, because you can hear it from there.
Yeah, I can hear it.
it's between that and the wind towers, huh?
Yep.
So,
I didn't realize how much noise they made.
It's beneficial noise, so.
All right,
I
anything
feel
else?
that way every night.
Anybody have anything else? Frank? All right, motion to adjourn
So move.
Second.
by John, by Neil. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.